Her background is
But-
nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now. A minute.
She
early.
rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just here, hey, she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall
but-
we talk about my one-sentence resignation?
Well, welcome back to Spilling the Tea in Studio D. The road tour of co-ops continues, and today we are at O.U.R. And we have the director right here, Mr. Jeff Cantrell, and your right hand over there, Kim, right, Fowler. And so, you know, at the end of the day, we always get O.U.R. mixed up. You know, Oral Roberts University has a co-op. What's up with that? So it is Ozark Resources Unlimited, correct? Or
Unlimited.
missed that.
Ozark
You are.
Unlimited Resources,
Okay.
Educational Service Cooperative.
Okay.
It's quite a name.
It
Write
is
that
quite
down
a
every day. Huh?
Yeah.
We just kind of use OUR.
Yeah,
O.U.R.
yeah,
ESC.
I don't
Yes.
blame you.
Yeah.
If you put that on a name tag, that'd be about the size of a license plate, right?
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 How did it get the name? I guess I never asked you guys that.
Well, Kim,
I don't know if they took suggestions or how that came about, but when the co-op was founded, that was what they ended up with was O.U.R.
Neat.
that's 40 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
So
I
is it-
was
But obviously, this is the Ozarks, so
right. Yeah. Right.
true. And unlimited resources makes sense. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, service organization.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I like
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the ways we like to get started is just, you know, asking the two of y'all kind of your pathway to the co-op, you know, your educational or occupational journey. So, Jeff, why don't you start?
educational, occupational journey. Well, let's go back even a little further than that. So, I grew up on a dairy farm.
Right. Okay.
Here, actually pretty local, less than about 7-8 miles from here.
Right.
Went to school right down the road here where you pass coming in, Valley Springs.
Yep.
Graduated there. I was going to be an engineer to start with.
Okay. Yeah.
And decided I wasn't smart enough. Halfway through college, I spent 2 years here at the local community college, and then I moved to the University of Arkansas. Or just in a meeting with a friend of mine over there. But prior to the year I moved over there, he took me to the office of the dean of the College of Agriculture, and by the time I left there, I was enrolled as an ag education student. So I started out teaching ag.
Right.
I taught ag 6 years at St. Joe, little bitty school on the Buffalo River.
Right.
6 years later, I moved to Jasper. I taught ag out there for 6 years.
Right.
And then the elementary principal at Jasper decided to leave and come to the co-op.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she happens to be sitting to my left.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
Ah.
19 years
We'll get
ago,
to hear that story in a
Yeah.
minute.
Not-
Yeah.
19 years ago, Dr. Fowler decided she was going to come and be the TCC at the co-op. And they come to me and said if I was crazy enough to do it, they'd let me be the elementary principal. So not saying that was the smartest move on somebody's
Right.
part to go get an ag teacher
Yeah.
to be an elementary principal, but it's worked out. So I spent 4 years as an elementary principal. Then I moved into district administration, and that's
All at Jasper.
all at Jasper.
Okay.
Until this
Yeah.
is my 6th year here at the co-op.
Right.
So
Right. Now, the school you started at, what'd you say the name of it was?
St. Joe,
Is it still?
it is still part of the Ozark Mountain School District.
Okay.
They're,
Okay.
they were part of consolidation.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, Kim, what about you?
Well, I'm local as well. I'm from Jasper. When I went to college in 1981, I majored in accounting and worked for 2 years for, at the time, they were called the Big Eight, a Big Eight accounting firm in Tulsa and then back in Fayetteville. And
So which one was
just
that?
Arthur Young.
Okay, my brother worked for Deloitte and Touche for a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
Arthur Young. I think
Okay.
it's Ernst and Young now.
Right. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And decided that that just wasn't for me, and I wanted to become a teacher. That had always kind of been in the back of my mind. And so I met with someone at the U of A and figured out what classes I would need to take. This was way before alternate licensure.
Yeah.
I had the privilege to take 67 undergraduate
Wow.
hours
Yeah.
to get my teaching certificate. And then it was kind of like Dana said when I watched their podcast. That was when someone had to pass
Oh, yeah.
for there to be an opening.
Sure.
Yes.
And so for the first year, I did some long-term subs in the area. And then I did get hired at Jasper and taught there for about 4 years. And they hired me as principal. When the principal who had been my principal when I started first grade retired.
Oh, wow.
He
Yeah.
had been there that long. And was there as principal for 13 years and then came over here,
Okay. And you've been here 19 years? Okay.
I think,
That's awesome.
somewhere
Wow.
in there.
Yeah.
It's 19
So-
because you've been here the same length of time that I've been an administrator. So,
Okay.
Okay, so she was your boss, and now you're her boss.
sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't ever his boss.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
He was in
Sorta.
the high school.
Oh, okay.
It's a small place, though.
I didn't
Yeah,
know if you
it
were
is
like,
a small
yeah.
place.
That's
So-
cool though that you guys knew each other before too.
So, any educators in either one of your families, or, yeah.
No.
So, well, my father has an animal science degree. He has a master's
Right.
degree in animal nutrition. He did teach ag at Harrison in the late 70s just for a couple years. I think he taught
Right.
ag 1 year and science 1 year. He was never actually certified, though. But
Oh,
that
wow.
was his full
Okay.
extent. That's
Okay.
the full extent of
Yeah.
teachers in my family. But now my wife is also a teacher. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, and you know, that it's interesting I say that because even like in my family, my only connection really was my dad was on school board at Cutter Morning Star, where I graduated from, for like 17 years. And you know, I guess in the back of my mind it was always there, but until I got around kids, you know, through being in radio, doing different, Red Ribbon Week, Career Day or something, didn't really hit me hard. But
Right.
and we talk about this a lot. I mean, it's certainly a calling. I mean, there's no other way around it. I think when it's all said and done, I would say 98% of the people, you know, and everybody sitting at this table can say, you know, we didn't get in it for the money. I mean, we're a lot more competitive now. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
but back in the day, that wasn't necessarily the case.
I certainly think mine is divine intervention.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I didn't. If you'd have told me when I was in high school, I wouldn't even know what a co-op was.
Right. Oh,
Or if
for
you-
sure.
Or
Yeah.
if you
Oh, yeah,
said
same.
you're going to be a public school administrator,
Yeah.
well, my teachers I had in high school would be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's not do that. No,
Yeah,
he doesn't. He doesn't
yeah,
need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I was so quiet in school. Everybody, which my mom was like, "You're going to be a teacher," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'd be fine in front of kids." But I never ever thought I would be a principal.
Yeah.
Because I was. I know that's hard to believe, Darren. I was quiet in school, but
Yeah.
I really
Man,
was
I
very
I long
quiet.
for those days.
I know.
Man.
Michael, don't be agreeing with
Yeah,
him.
yeah, for sure.
Michael, don't even agree with him.
So,
what are you talking about?
so one of the unique things about this co-op, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, how many schools do y'all serve?
we serve 16 school districts,
Right,
5 main counties,
right.
but a couple of those school districts, well, really one of those school districts reaches out into Johnson County
right.
and into
Yeah.
Madison County.
Yeah,
And then we also have a couple. This is a big early childhood co-op.
right.
So we have a couple of preschools in Baxter County as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in the Mountain Home area.
Yeah, well, but what I was going to say, what's unique about this particular co-op is just probably, I guess the best way to say it is the square miles that you guys cover. I mean, you know, I think of Deer Mount Judy and Jasper, some of those schools. Which one is the furthest out, probably?
Well, the O.U.R campus from is part of the Jasper
Right.
School District.
Okay.
It's
That makes
within
sense.
30 minutes of the interstate.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the furthest one out.
Yeah.
The Jasper School District in itself is 611 square miles.
Wow. That's crazy.
So
Yeah. You
It's
know,
beautiful through there, though, driving in. I was
yeah.
like, oh, this is.
well, and I think that speaks again. You know, all districts. You know, we go from Kirby all the way up to Benton and Bryant in size, but a lot of times it's, you know, we feel like, you know, the smaller schools really lean into co-ops
Absolutely.
more so.
up here, our districts range from size of, Harrison is probably about 2,750
Right.
kids, all the way to, 260 or 270 for
Right.
for Deer Mount Judy, and,
Yeah.
and a lot of ours, we got like 2 or 3 just over 1,000 kids, and the rest of them are all. I mean, it's in that
Right.
probably in that 400 to 700 range,
Yeah.
mostly for the average. So all of our districts would most definitely be considered rural
Right.
in Arkansas.
Well, and and I've always thought that Deer, Mount Judy, that's a pretty unique dynamic that they have over there.
Yes.
And I mean, those are, God, how big is that district roughly? You think square miles that they cover?
There was a time I probably knew that. I'm going to say don't hold me to this
Right.
one, but it's probably around 400 square miles,
Wow.
maybe 450.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 3 of those districts that are consolidated. Ozark
Yeah.
Mountain is the other one like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, and like I say, those are the districts I think sometimes, in the day-to-day operations of things, as far as schools go, it's really easy to take those folks for granted. Some of the things that they have or don't have,
Well, I think my pathway through Jasper and working in that consolidated district like that has helped me here at
Sure.
this job.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can take the experiences you get as an administrator there in that district, or if you want to call them experiences, you can call them issues.
Yeah.
You can pretty much multiply it times 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
that's true.
I mean, you're dealing with 3 different communities.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, I think about that when we talk to building level administrators, they may have three grades, let's say. And then I say most, probably those districts are probably K-12 in some instances, or at least K-6 in most instances.
Yes.
I don't know. So, and
We have some of both,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and like you're saying, I think when you have, especially a K-12, that's its own. I mean, the rules and regs don't go away.
Nope.
You've got to be able to, get yourself through that day to day, and I can't even, even from, let's just say, a discipline standpoint. I mean, if you're dealing with a kindergarten, and then you got to turn around 15 minutes, you're dealing with a 10th, 11th, 12th
Yeah.
grader. I mean,
Totally different way you deal with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And in some instances, the kindergartners are more mature than the
Absolutely.
10th, 11th, and 12th graders.
And then you've got the curriculum side of that.
Sure.
All the way
Yes.
from high school to
Yeah.
kindergarten. I mean, that was a
Yes.
struggle for me when I went from being an ag teacher to being an elementary principal. And
Right.
Dr. Fowler got heavily involved in trying to educate me
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
quickly on
Yeah.
on elementary curriculum.
Sure.
And that's
That-
what's great.
It
Co-op
is.
can come in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Help
So, Kim, in the
Well,
19 years you've been in the co-op, and I mean, what are some of the biggest? I don't know if changes is the right word, but I guess we could use it that way. Some of the biggest changes that you've seen throughout those 19 years.
I think maybe how we work with DESE
Right.
and the support we give them, the things they ask us to do.
Right.
When I first came here, a lot of that focused solely on professional learning, and
Right.
that's still a big part.
Sure.
But in the last couple of years, they have asked us to be partners with our district and
Right.
help them as they develop plans and different pieces that they have to submit to
Right.
DESE.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I mean, we were, at the state board meeting last week, and that was what Secretary Oliva, Stacy Smith both alluded to, the fact that, they are pushing more out to us in hopes that, I mean, we are walking hand in hand with our districts because, accountability, obviously, I mean, that's the name of the game these
Yes.
days. And I know even some of our larger districts at times, they have specific questions. And I think that's, we've talked about this at most co-ops, but that's one of the things I think I love about it is the fact that it's never the same job 2 days in a row. We don't know what we're walking into. A big part of what we do is listen. Whether that be, out of frustration, need, or whatever the case may be. And for me personally, that's the best thing about the job. I feel like we're impacting more kids, even more so when I was a superintendent. I feel like this was an opportunity to really impact, more kids. And as we, navigate, through the future, I just see co-ops being more and more involved with the Department of Ed. So.
And I think our position as co-ops because we have excellent relationships with all
Oh,
16 of our
absolutely.
districts, as
Yes.
I'm sure you all do as well.
Right.
And that positions co-ops to be able to do that work.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
much easier for us to go in there and have those conversations with districts other than
Oh, right.
with other than
Yeah.
people coming in that they
Yeah.
don't know or
Right. Because
Yeah.
they know you're there to,
yes.
Yeah. And,
to support, and you're
Mhm.
not trying to.
and I think that's what, makes co-ops effective from a regional standpoint, let's say. Usually, the leadership teams within those regional co-ops, I'd say probably 98% of them come from that region.
Yes.
And so a big piece of that relationship has already been established.
Yes.
And so we find that easier for us to walk in, open up doors, just know.
Right.
And it's funny, a lot of times some of the behind the scenes calls that we get, well, I didn't want to say in front of the group, I didn't, but I
Right.
mean, we tell them, hey, that's what we're here for. If we don't
Right.
know, we'll find out.
Yep.
Exactly. So.
And sometimes when I'll get a question about something, and I'll call one of my other superintendents.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
ask.
absolutely.
So we all try
Yeah.
to work as a group.
Oh, absolutely.
We try to be a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
and-
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, even with the relationship, as I feel like it's strengthened with the department, it's done that across the co-ops too.
Yes.
I think, I can remember a time, as a building level principal, even where schools were more competitive, whereas now it's more of what's working, and
Yes.
and people are happy to share it. So it's
Well-
been good to watch that.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, this goes, what I'm about to say, it goes for you too. I know when
Yeah.
you and I walk in a room, we are not the smartest people in the
Oh,
room.
absolutely. Yeah.
And we're
We would
yeah.
agree with that, Kim.
Yes,
No,
we
I-
would.
I mean, we're
I'm just
fortunate.
kidding.
We're
I'm
fortunate
just
to have
kidding.
the support and the knowledge that goes
Yeah.
that goes with us.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
but our work together as co-ops.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to sit and listen
Yes.
at our co-op
Right.
directors meetings. I learn
Right.
more from listening from you guys than
Sure. Absolutely.
And what I learned there, we come back and talk about it. And a lot of our success is because we sit and listen to.
Right.
Listen to
Same
other
here.
co-ops.
Same here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You learn from each other.
And that's
so.
why I drag Katie along with a lot of stuff. That way I know at least I'm not when it comes to being the smartest. I'm smarter than one person. So I'll say it that way. So, yeah. So,
We're on the podcast. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah.
Y'all can just imagine. Y'all just know what I'm going to say. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. He's
Go
smart,
ahead.
okay?
Go
He's
ahead and
smart.
say it.
I can't.
Yeah.
Michael had to bleep me.
Mm.
No, I was going to say, you guys, we were talking about just how we get to support the districts, and that is a blessing, in my opinion, to go in. But let's talk about when you guys talk about the tornado coming through, and I know, Kim, y'all had
Right.
districts that supported you
We
with
did.
the PD and things like that. So if you want
Yep.
to share.
Like within the tornado happened Sunday morning of Memorial Day weekend, and by Monday several schools had reached out because this was summer PD was getting ready to
Yeah.
start, had reached out and offered their facilities, whatever they could do.
That's awesome.
We opted to utilize Valley Springs. They just pretty much gave us their high school for the summer
Wow.
to have PD rooms. There were some sessions that were larger that we had to go to alternate locations. But it was just amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
The way that the whole region came together
Yeah, we
to be there.
utilized Harrison's,
We did Harrison,
their
Bergman.
Performing Arts Center, Bergman, North Arkansas Community College, the hospital,
Oh, wow.
North
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, NARMC. They reached out and offered up a building just right down the road here on the left, a small
Yeah.
doctor's office. We ended up placing 12 employees down there.
There were several.
Wow.
For I think they moved back in here like last February.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So let's talk about that. As far as damage, I mean, you guys are pretty much shut down. I mean, you had a little bit of damage pretty much everywhere up here, right?
we did. So there was a mini storage right down here below us that pretty much just exploded,
Wow.
and all that shrapnel just come right through this building.
Gosh.
To our right over here, our neighbor's trash dumpster, and I don't mean their
Yeah.
trash can. I mean
Yeah.
the dumpster that the
Yeah.
dump truck picks up
Yeah.
was sitting right in that window right there.
Wow.
And
Um,
our dumpsters were way up on the hill in the field behind the building.
Yeah, they were
Yikes.
a quarter mile back up there. So it's been an 18-month process to rebuild this place. The center part of this building we were able to utilize just for offices
Right.
probably after about a month after
Mhm.
it all happened. And then
Right.
about the time we got done at Valley at the summer, the people that were working at Valley all moved back up in here, and
Mhm.
they had office space here.
Right.
And we had 2 of our presentation rooms that we could utilize, and that was
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
One of the biggest issues you have dealing with that stuff is where do you store all your things? And
Yeah.
the insurance company, that was one of the main things they were worried about was all of our contents
Sure.
Right.
and what we were going to do with them,
Mhm.
Right.
because they didn't want to incur any more cost from any more damage occurring than
Yeah.
what had
Right.
already happened.
Right.
So all of our rooms, all of our big conference rooms, except for 2, ended up being storage
Yeah.
Oh,
during that whole
yeah.
time.
Mhm.
So the total cost for this repair is about $1.73 million.
Wow. Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to brag on our insurance. I know that Sedgwick has taken over and is
Right.
doing the state's
Right.
new insurance, and that's
Yeah.
who we worked with in this
Right.
process. They have been good to work with. No
Mhm.
complaints at all.
Right.
$10,000 deductible, and I know
Mhm.
deductibles are going
Sure.
up.
Right.
But for this place to be totally repaired for
Mhm.
1.72 million and it's only $10,000,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things there, like I say, I can't imagine you're getting ready to go into quote unquote our busy season, and then bam, you've got that to worry with. Which I would say, it's not typically an area of the state I think about tornadoes, but I guess they can pop up anywhere.
Well, we seem to have had our share.
We,
Yeah.
we
Lately.
seem to be becoming Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
So I was laying in bed that morning, and I knew there were storms coming, but I haven't,
Right.
and the alerts went off on our phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I reached over and grabbed my phone and pulled up the radar and was looking at it, and I'm like, well, that's going north of my house,
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
and we never even really got any rain at my house.
Right.
So my wife got up, and I've got 3 boys, and one of them, he lives in Nashville now. But my two youngest boys were at home, and she got up, and they went down the basement. I never even got out of the bed. And
That'd be me.
about 45 minutes after all that, maybe an hour, I got a text message from a guy I used to go to church with that owns the glass company in Harrison.
Mm.
And he said, hey, brother, let me know if I can help you any.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
praying for you,
Yeah,
stuff like
right.
that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then it hit me. It was,
Yeah.
the co-op.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Oh.
I got up, drove up here, and, man, it just looked like a bomb had went off.
I remember the pictures. It just was
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, I guess fortunately nobody was here at the time.
Correct.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
could have been much worse.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I will say, though, one of the first people that contacted me that day, I think I got a text message from Darren about 10
Yeah.
o'clock. It was a Sunday morning, and said, ask how, hey, sorry to hear.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I say, been fortunate. I mean, dealt with a few things, but nothing like that. And I mean, it takes no time just to destroy that. So.
I told him if we have to go through that again, I'm going to go ahead and just
Well,
retire and go again.
Well,
But
at some point, I guess you had to roll up your sleeves and say, okay, this is where we start. I mean, because I'm sure it was overwhelming.
Oh,
it was.
goodness.
We had so many offers for help.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable support
Yeah.
that we had, and so the insurance company actually, they brought a company in here. I mean, we hired them, but they brought them
Right.
in. We brought them in at their recommendation, and
Right.
they moved all the stuff around and cleaned up around here.
Yeah.
And actually, the guy that takes me in the glass company, he boarded everything up. Of course, you saw us
Yeah.
on Zooms for
Sure.
a year.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
plywood
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
me,
Yeah.
Plywood behind you. Yeah.
Yeah.
so that was
Yeah.
that's just what we lived with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out great.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's beautiful.
I've been up here one other time, and like I said, I was thinking that very thing with all the glass. I just couldn't imagine, but I mean, they've done a fantastic job putting it back together, and it's great, like you're saying, to have those districts to step up and help. I mean, some of the larger things that we do, obviously, we have to reach out to our districts that can accommodate much larger numbers when we have all 22 districts come in for like an admin institute
Oh, yeah.
or something like that.
They're great to help. Yeah.
Yeah. So, at the end of the thing, what would you say, at the end of the day, I guess, I mean, what do you feel like probably is one of your strongest suits as a co-op? What do you feel like?
Well, like I said earlier, I think this co-op has a very large early childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got 115 employees here at the co-op. I didn't go look at numbers exactly before
Right.
we started, but
Mhm.
75 to 80% of those employees are early childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we have preschool programs in 11 of our
Mhm.
16 districts.
Right.
The other
Yeah.
4 have their own
Yeah.
ABC programs, and we
Right.
have one district that has Head Start. But, you know, we have parents as teachers. We have hippie program.
Yeah.
We were one of the first cohorts on the local leads,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best things that's come
Oh, I
about from the
agree.
Learns Act.
100%.
They've come in and,
so good.
Yeah.
and got all of
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
entities working
Sure.
together, and we're
Yeah.
getting more kids.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of our success up here in this co-op area is that we've had a strong early childhood
Yeah. No
presence
doubt.
for a long time.
Yeah,
you
and,
know.
and I think
Yeah.
that, like you're saying, I think that is something you guys are known for is early childhood. And I mean, expertise-wise, I mean, I know.
I don't know about that.
Well, when it comes to funding and some of those things, I think you guys have experienced, worked through a lot of stuff that some of us haven't. I mean, we've got a fairly large footprint in early childhood, but again, I feel like every year I'm learning something,
Mhm.
right? But I think that the local leads has been incredible. Just to, like you're saying, it pulls even the mom and pops, as we say, together to make sure that we're identifying the kids that have needs and providing, the best opportunity for those kids, even at that young age, to be successful. I haven't been to visit yet because it's our first venture into, infant toddler, and we've got basically two districts that are doing that. And, my mind didn't even go there till local leads came about.
Correct. We're actually venturing off into that in one district
Yeah.
as well.
Right.
So, you know that, and I would say that our strongest suit up here is we just try to support what their needs.
Right.
Probably about my second year here, COVID was kind of winding down, and kids were back in school, and behaviors were terrible.
Mhm.
I had a superintendent call me one day, and he's like, "What can we do? What can you do to help us with behavior?"
Right. Yeah.
We started talking about it at the board meeting, and went back there and talked with Betsy and the O.U.R program and
Right.
for ideas, and she come to the board meeting, and we talked. And long story short, we ended up starting our own funded consortium with our own districts, and
Yeah.
we hired a school psychologist, and we hired 2 really special ed teachers, very tenured special ed teachers, to come in and work as behavior coaches.
Yeah.
And we've got, I think, 10 of our districts.
Yeah.
I think
That-
that's about
Still-
right.
And how has that worked out for you? I'm sure
It's worked for the districts that utilize it. It's worked out great.
Right.
Yeah.
I bet they're very busy.
Yes, yes,
Very.
Extremely. Yeah.
I do love that about the co-ops too, the consortium, because if they want to hire a person but they can't do it by themselves, you can get all the
Right.
smaller districts together. It's just very beneficial. So
Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah, and I even think about one of the things that we do. We, like the sky lifts or sky jacks, whatever they call them. We've got a consortium for that. Some of the
Really?
smaller schools, yeah. So basically, they've gone in and purchased 2 of them. The districts we provide the trailers, but I know it's summertime. It's long story short. I'm going bird walking for sure, but when I first got there, we had the toughest time tracking that thing. We'd call school A, and they go, "No, we gave to school C." And so what we ended up doing, and I think Michael may have found them, but it was like a dog tracking type device.
Yeah.
But we can pop it up on the internet and see where it's at now.
Yeah.
So
Put like,
Who has
like
it?
an Apple tracker on
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's pretty close to that, and it's
Yeah.
super cheap for but like I say, those are the kinds of things I think sometimes that the districts are involved in. I mean, we do that with our facilities person. Not all of them are in on it, but the majority of ours are in a consortium with a facilities person that helps with all the reports and paperwork and 10-year plans that have to be submitted. But yeah, that's one of the best things about the co-ops.
And I would say we have a really strong CTE presence
Yes.
up here. They're working our CTE. Emily, our CTE person, she works strongly with businesses,
Right.
and that was going on prior to me coming here, and
Yeah.
it has just grown even more.
Yeah, and
So
and I think again that's important from the standpoint. I feel like we have a super strong CTE person as well in April Shepherd, but the emphasis that's being placed again on the workforce. It's not college, and again, I think. Folks are starting to realize we got to have plumbers, we got to
Yes.
have electricians, we got to have great tradesmen, whatever that case may be. And so I've been excited. Matter of fact, I keep hearing great things about the program up in Fort Smith. Going to try to take a road trip up
Yes.
there and check that out. So
well, you should invite some of the rest of us to go with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I think we should. Yeah, 100%.
You talk about needing plumbers. We also need strong building level principals and superintendents.
100%.
So we are heavily involved and,
Right.
and really happy to be
Yes.
providing
Yeah.
mentoring for that this year.
Right.
Super excited
Yeah.
about it.
And
Yeah, we're really
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah,
back in June, our mentoring person had an opportunity to leave and move closer to home with our kids. So we had an opening, and at first we were really concerned about replacing
With
that
the
position
timing.
and the
Yeah.
timing. And
Be-
Yeah.
long story short, we ended up going back and the superintendent from Jasper,
right, yeah.
unfortunately for Jasper,
Right.
was interested in that job. So we brought her in, added a little more to that position with the building level,
Yeah,
and her and Kim are tag teaming that. But
Sure.
they work just like
yeah.
A and B together. I mean, it's just really it's a great setup, and it's going to be really good for our districts. And our,
Well,
good.
yeah, and
the building level principals up here are going to get a lot better job done than the superintendents are going to get done.
well, the interesting thing is, for those two, the mentoring, both at superintendent and the building level, I feel like, we have the opportunity and the time to push in. And a lot of times, that, obviously every day at a school, I mean, you can start out with a to-do list, but you're never going to get to it because
Exactly.
the minute you hit that campus, something's going to happen. But I think, having somebody that has that experience, and that's the other great thing I think about co-ops, are job-alike people, whether it be teachers, whether it be curriculum and or administrators. I mean, that to me, that's such a great tool to offer them.
Right.
Like we've got 2 brand new superintendents at our place. So after the board meeting, we decided that's when we were going to meet. And we just sat there probably ended up being, probably 2.5 hours. And a lot of listening on our part, but also just a lot of questions, that they had, and, simply, am I thinking about this right? And again, the thing we love about that is taking the time to educate them about the co-op, what we can do, and what, and pretty much if, they got a question, we'll help them find
Got
out.
plugged in with our specialists
Absolutely.
and everything.
Yeah.
So
That's the same here. We've got a board meeting on Friday. We're actually going to meet with the new superintendents, and we have 4 of them here this
Wow.
year. So
Yeah.
25%
oh
Yeah.
wow.
of our superintendents. We're going to meet an hour before. I've got one of our long-time sitting superintendents. He's going to come in and present to them about board relations.
Yes.
And I think I've got some current superintendents this is not their first year, that are going to come and sit in on that and listen
Right.
and talk.
Yeah,
So-
and that's the other thing is, again, across our span, we have, as do you've got superintendents of varying levels of experience and probably better in one area than the other, but they've all stepped up to the plate and say, hey, I want to come in and talk to them about, board relations and or, feeling the pressure of being a new superintendent.
Right.
And and I think, practitioners, hearing it from practitioners is an incredible way to learn. I think back to when I had it, ours was kind of a hit and miss kind of thing. But again, I knew, some of the area folks, especially where I'd worked, and again, it goes back to relationships. If I had a question, I felt, confident enough that if I needed the help, I knew where to go and get it. So,
Yeah.
and I know Candace has done a great job too, pushing in on campus with them. She's got with a couple of them this summer, and
I think we have about 5 building principals.
yeah,
So, been in a couple times. It's been really good because you get in there and then you kind of have your things that you're going to go over and you're going to talk about, and then they're like, "Well, hey, what about this? I had this come up." So, you know, have gotten phone calls. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's something that I've had to deal with in the past, it's helpful. If not, it's let me think.
Yeah.
So, you know, just kind of talk through the process.
Yeah, and a lot like you two, I think, you know, being both former administrators, I mean, between the two of us, I mean, you
One
know,
of us has been through it, probably.
yeah,
Right.
on some
Yeah.
level.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
And one of the things, you know, in our area, and I know it's not exclusive to our area, but we have two universities, as I like to say, within spitting distance, two four-year schools, and they both have, you know, ed prep programs. And you know, the thing that's kind of disheartening again right now, we're hearing the numbers are sliding back down. So
And they can go to school for free, basically.
yeah, absolutely. They have that opportunity now to do that. But I mean, how are y'all dealing with the recruitment piece of it? I mean, we help as much as we can. You know, we go and talk to the kids when the colleges call, but I think we got to. I mean, we've got to catch them. You know what, 9th, 10th grade, probably.
I think one of our colleges is going to start going in and talking.
Well,
to kids.
first of all, I think we have lagged behind in seeing some of those effects,
Right.
but we are seeing them. We, being mentoring and CTE, have really worked with schools to try to get those
Right.
pre-educator programs
yeah.
going. Because some of our schools really struggle with, they hire teachers, but they don't stay.
Right.
And so, you know, the grow your own is the direction
Oh,
they are
yeah.
going to have to
Yeah.
go
Right.
To be able to keep quality staff
Yeah.
in their area.
Yeah, and I really feel like, you know, this has just been amazing watching this, though. It kind of blows my mind a little bit. Let's just say in the last couple years that I've really paid attention. But how, you know, when I was teaching, coaching, administrating, whatever the case may be, it was unheard of for a teacher to just come in and say, I quit. You know, they either wrote it out to the semester or they at least finished the year, but now they're just coming in on a Friday or a Wednesday and saying, hey, this ain't for me. You know, so but part of that is societal. I get that. You know, if it don't feel good, I'm not going to do it kind of thing. But you know, at the end of the day, I think as educators, like you're saying, Kim, it's up to us to go out and recruit and make sure that you know, we're catching them early enough and giving them the tools and the confidence to say, this is a great profession, you know.
We have some schools that Reach University has been just an amazing opportunity to pull in paras that wouldn't have been able to make arrangements to go to college.
Right.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And yet they can continue to work. They basically don't have a lot of expense as far as tuition. And, you know, they've got some of our schools have several people on staff as now teachers.
Yeah, well, that's awesome because, you know, and I think sometimes, you know, as the pairs, they get locked in and think, well, you know, that ship has sailed, and that's not the case.
Correct.
And I mean, how many pairs have you gone in and observed that were incredible teachers?
Right.
And
you're like, they've got the it factor. They
That's
need
right.
to be in teaching. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know this has been a few years ago now at Jasper. One of the paras went back to school and was able to do a lot of the coursework online, but she had to stop, quit work to do the student teaching internship.
Right.
And that's a huge financial hardship
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
for anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and you know, that's why, again, it goes back to relationships. But we have great ones with both of the universities, and we had one at semester. We had a pre-K opening, and we went to them and said, hey, look, we've got in this particular pre-K, we've got 4 classrooms. So instead of having one mentor teacher, this one would have basically 3, and it will allow us to pay them. And, you know, they were like, well, we've never thought about that. Let us get back to you. And they came back and they said, we don't see anything wrong at all. The only thing they asked of us was to say, hey, on the days that we call our, you know, our mentor or our interns in, we just ask if they're available. And we were like, absolutely. no problem at all.
You could work that out, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah,
For sure. Huh?
for sure. Yeah. that
Did
was-
you go cover the class?
No, Candace didn't. No, I'm
No.
kidding. We
Listen, we're both secondary people,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. When I go into a pre-K classroom, it's just to get them revved up and leave. I went in this year, first day, and was just checking on Arkadelphia because it's right there in our back door. And we walked in. They were having traffic problems, and we were looking at the flow. How could it get better? And I thought, well, hey, I'm here. I'll go check in on the kids. And of course, it was the first day of pre-K. Lots of tears. One comes up and just latches onto my leg, and that led to about 8 of them. And I was like, hey, it's going to be okay, kind of thing. And but yeah, but that's where I usually go if I'm having a bad day. I'll slide in a pre-K and really remember why we do what we do. It's a lot of fun to go down there.
Yeah, definitely. My calling was not pre-K through 4. It was. I taught
Yeah.
secondary 7-12,
Yeah.
and then middle school principal, and that's about as low as I would want to go. But middle school, I mean, you have one extreme to the next. 5th graders are so sweet, and they're just like hugging you every day, fist bumping, and then the 8th graders are like looking at you like,
Yeah, you were so
are
uncool.
you?
Yeah.
yeah. Occasionally, you got to work to build those relationships.
Well,
with
and
them, but
that's what I think about middle school, and I always said this as a principal and assistant principal at the middle level, is that I almost feel like that's your best chance at a last chance for really, reaching a kid. And, when I was at Lakeside, I was fortunate enough to have a group at the middle school. Then I got to go to the high school and catch them, my last 2 years there at Lakeside. And it was kind of neat and somewhat thinking, well, that kid didn't get it, because, hey, it's still doing the same stupid stuff, but that happens.
Well,
So-
I'm sure you made more of a difference than you think.
Yeah, well, and I hope, some of those kids you touch, you'll never know. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in, just like you guys have. You've run into them, and they stop and tell you what a difference maker you were. And I was like everybody else, when I got in it. If I touch one kid, hey, I feel like I've done something.
Right.
But I've been fortunate enough to catch some, so.
yeah.
I know you're doing the interview, but let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So, do you feel like at being at the co-op, does it take you longer to get affirmation that you're doing a good job?
I guess yes and no, but this is what I'll say. I've never been an affirmation person. You know what I'm saying? I've really been one of these things. I'm challenge driven, and I'll say that 100%. And I feel like if in one of the, I don't even know if you call it a talent or not, but one of the things I feel like that I've been blessed with is the ability to build a great team. And so that's what I'll say to me, the affirmation part is, to the people in the trenches. Again, I feel like, if our people are willing to come to work, they're excited about what they're doing, that's all the affirmation I need, because the rest of it tends to take care of itself. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, it's
Yeah. I would say from the kid aspect,
Yeah.
it's hard to get that connection. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's hard to feel that connection. But like Darren said, you'll have, when things are going great, most of the time people just don't say
Yeah.
anything. And Darren and I both
Yeah.
are pretty much the type of people that we're just going to come to work every day. We're going to do our
Right.
job. But
Yeah.
it is nice occasionally
Right.
if they say, hey, thanks for
Right.
Yeah.
sending the email. And they do. We do have people that will do
Yeah.
that. But that's just not natural for a lot of people. It's not natural
Yeah.
for me.
right.
It's not natural for me either.
And I have
Yeah.
to work at it to even send a text to our specialists, and they know. I mean, it's just a struggle.
Yeah.
Like they're like, well,
Yeah.
you do a pretty good job at it. I'm like, yeah, but I have to really work at it because I'll just get in there and do my job and
Right.
go home and think everybody just come to work, do your job.
Well, and I think back to one of the first jobs I ever had at Magic Springs. Had a lady that I worked with but she said, this is what I'm going to tell you. It'll take you far. She said, if you don't ever remember anything that I ever tell you, and I didn't, this is the only thing I remember, but she said, always say please and thank you. And she said, you need to thank the people that are working with you, for you, above and below. She said, everybody loves to be appreciated, right?
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I'm not necessarily intrinsically wired that way. Like I say, I'm a big challenge person. The phone will ring and I'll hang it up and I'll say yes, and somebody in the office will go, what'd you get us into? And I said, hey, the next challenge, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So Gerald Cooper, former
Yeah.
retired director.
Right.
When I got this job, he told me, he said the first 6 months you're going to think this is the worst job you ever had, but after
Yeah.
that it's going to be the best job you ever
Yeah,
had.
yeah, yeah.
And my first 6 months was during COVID, so I was happy to be away from being a school superintendent.
Yeah, oh yeah.
During
yeah,
that, and happy just to be helping
Yeah.
helping our
Yeah.
districts navigate that.
Right.
Well, and,
But
yeah,
so I didn't feel the first 6 months,
sure, right.
but it come time to rehire my first year here, and we left the room for executive session so our
Right.
board could discuss it. And we're out there
Yeah.
going, man, I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. And
Yeah. Yeah,
anyway, long story short, they come in, they give us a raise and
yeah.
just give us a big pat on the back and tell us
Right.
great job.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
and we try to tell our new people that we hire here that,
Yeah.
the people we work with are so busy and
Yeah.
they have so many things
Yes.
going on and so many pressures that,
Yes.
that they may not always be able to
Express that.
express to
Yeah.
you
Yep.
Yeah.
their appreciation
Yep.
for your help.
Right. And,
But just
Yeah.
give it some time.
yeah,
And,
and the other part of that is too, like when the schools reach out. I mean, they're, full on fire alarm when they, the
Right.
first thing, and then you're able to help them process that a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I think that's another way of folks showing that, in that we get them on track. And behind the scenes we may tell each other, hey, we did good there, and our part of the team did what they needed to do, kind of thing. But yeah, it's different. I mean, the first little bit is just it's totally different from the superintendent seat for
Right.
sure. And
But we get to help people all the time, which I love that.
I do
So,
too.
yeah.
absolutely.
that's the best part of the job
Yeah,
for me.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to feel like I'm making a difference.
Right.
Oh,
me
yeah.
too.
Right.
Me too.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, and one of the things too that we've done this since our Fountain Lake days together, but the book One Word. I mean, we like this year, move is my word, and one of the things that I think about moving is don't wait on somebody else. I mean, if you see something that needs to be done, move, get it done. And so that's kind of my reminding word for the year. And having, I tell you, like I said, I've been so blessed with every place that I've been in the teams that I've got to work with, because number one, first and foremost, we're going to have fun. Second, and a close second, we're going to work really hard, but when you work as hard as we do most days, it's you gotta take time to laugh at yourself, because it's as good as that old adage, you can take your work super seriously, but don't take yourself too serious.
That's
because
right.
a lot of people aren't.
Yeah. Technically, like what he's saying is technically like we're both, we're middle school in our minds.
Exactly.
Like,
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Michael
for sure.
says they are. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
really are. Yeah.
So Kim, if you weren't in education, what would you be doing, you think?
Well, I tried the accounting, and
Right.
that
Yeah.
wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
My sister's an accountant.
that does come in
CPA.
handy for her with budgeting and
Oh, yeah.
grants and
I
all
bet.
that.
Yeah.
Multi-talented.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of like me. I got to live out what I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life, which was, radio, and then the education piece just kind of presented itself. And what about you?
Oh,
Full-on Green Acres farmer kind of thing? or-
hunting, fishing, loving every minute.
Yeah. So you milk cows, I'm guessing, or
I did. That
Yeah.
was. So when I grew up, we didn't have vacations. Our vacation was going to a livestock show or something, and
yeah.
Yeah.
you get drug around, and
Right.
Yeah.
I told somebody once I grew up on a dairy farm. They're like, "Well, the only difference in being on a dairy farm and being in prison, prisoners don't have to milk cows."
Yeah. I know.
So
Yeah.
Listen, I never had to milk
Yeah.
cows. I've fed bottle-fed calves before. My dad has cows. I've driven trucks for the hay haulers. So,
Yes.
but we did take vacations one week in the summer. So,
I said I would never do that to my kids, and I'm.
Yeah.
But now looking back on that, man, I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't.
Yeah.
Same,
Yeah.
same.
Right.
I mean, it builds,
Yep.
responsibility, work ethic, and
We've got a farm.
yeah,
I mean, we've got cows.
Yeah.
It's beef cows, not dairy
Yeah.
cows, and
yeah.
we've got.
yeah.
That's my dad's
There's really
beef.
3 farms there, and it's all great grandparents' land. We
Yep.
got 2 farms that's been in our family over 100 years.
Yep.
So if I wasn't doing this, I would
Yeah.
have to be doing
Yeah.
that probably, and even
Yeah.
more.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've always been involved in motorsports.
Yeah.
I've always liked race cars. I went
Yeah.
to school every day reading a hot rod magazine.
Did you race?
Race
Have
car
you
driver
raced,
over
or-
I
here.
did.
Oh,
I did,
wow.
I did race
Oh.
some years ago.
Mhm.
You know, I still have a little pickup that I
Some
autocross.
legal,
Oh,
some
yeah?
not.
So
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
she said some legal racing and some not legal
Yeah.
racing.
Well,
some of that is true.
yeah. We're splitting
He's
hairs.
admitting
yeah.
to this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of that's true. Well, it's past the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Statute
yeah,
of
statute of
limitations.
limitations.
So-
Yeah.
So was it like, what kind of car was it like that you drove?
The last actual drag race car I had was a Fox body Mustang. So it was like
Okay,
a 1980
yeah.
87 model Mustang,
Yeah.
but it had Chevrolet motors in them.
Gotcha.
So,
So where did you go to race?
oh, I've been to Centerville, which is down
Yeah.
south of Russellville,
Yeah.
and mostly he was in Rogersville, Missouri, though.
Okay, I
mean,
got you.
for us, where we live here, it's about the same distance either way. To
So
go
you
to.
got lots of trophies? Did you?
I have some.
Yeah, gotcha.
We start calling him Lightning
But he
McQueen.
still,
yeah.
he still races.
Does he?
I don't
That-
drag race anymore, but this autocross, it's kind of like racing in a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I've got a little pickup that's
That's
it's,
awesome.
It's
Yeah.
pretty.
I
It's
love
pretty.
it.
It's pretty neat. You need to go for a ride sometime.
So what kind of truck is it?
It's a little 1972 Chevrolet pickup.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
the only thing factory in the truck is the body panels.
Okay,
So-
so is it like the old Chevy box truck or
Yeah.
S10? What are we talking
No,
about?
it's full size truck, but it's
Full-size,
short.
okay.
It's short wheelbase, 2-wheel
Gotcha.
drive.
Gotcha.
I mean, it sets
Okay.
about
That's
six
cool.
6 inches off the ground.
Wow. What-
Never
what-
knew he raced. See, this is
So-
what these podcasts
yeah.
bring
so,
out
so
all
what,
this info.
What's the top speed in that thing?
You've been recording this right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'd say from a racing standpoint. you
Well,
know?
just the autocross is just it's one vehicle at a time on a parking lot
Oh,
through a cone course.
gotcha. Yeah.
You know, it'll hit the rev limiter in probably second gear there, so it's
Wow.
probably 70, 75 mile an
Yeah,
hour through there. I'll go to Nashville here in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to be off. I didn't tell you. I go to Nashville
He's
in a
like,
couple
by
of
the way,
weeks,
Kim.
and they actually set this autocross up on the end of the track at the Nashville Speedway. So
Oh,
we get
wow,
to use
yeah.
part of the track, and then it comes
Oh,
down in there.
cool.
Yeah.
It's faster than some of them that
Yeah.
I go to.
That's
cool.
interesting. Well, that competitive spirit, it never leaves you, right?
Everything with me, and this is irritating to some people, but everything with me is a competition.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, she's scared to death about our
Cornhole.
cornhole because
See, that killed him that
Yeah.
we beat him at
because
cornhole. See, yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so competitive.
I don't know
Yeah.
if
So-
you noticed, but
Yeah.
that night he finally just had to.
Well, she was
Yeah.
scared to death that I was mad. I'm like, Kim, I'm
Yeah.
not. I've got no
Yeah.
expectations. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Right.
We don't win the cornhole.
Right. Yeah. Well, the funny.
Is he making you practice,
Hey.
Kim? No.
We're getting ready to start my regiment.
Hey, the funniest thing about the whole thing, I mean, we're in the semifinals and Candace is on our phone. I'm like, who are you talking? She goes, it's Scott. That's her husband. You're not going to believe this. Darren and I are in the semifinals. And he said, well, everybody else must pretty much suck.
I was like, thanks, babe. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
We
But,
resemble that remark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good times, though. Yeah. Yeah.
That was so fun. So fun.
Yeah. So the other thing we like to ask everybody is kind of like, musically, if I hop in your car, what are you listening to?
You want to go first?
Yeah.
It's very eclectic.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
look at the
that's me.
downloaded music
Right.
on my phone,
Right.
there's everything from AC/DC to
Yeah.
Zach Bryan to
Yeah.
Cody Johnson
Yeah.
to Allison Krauss.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like
and
mine,
all
yeah.
in
Right.
between.
Oh, yeah.
In the car, sometimes I bounce back and forth the country stations and then
Yeah.
like the 70s and 80s
Right.
because
Yeah.
the music from when I was growing up is kind of bleeds.
Sure.
70s
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
80s was when I was in college.
Yeah, that was the good
I
stuff.
love the
yeah,
80s.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
90s countries
heavy
when I
metal
was in
bands.
radio, and that's what I gleaned to that. But I'm very eclectic myself. What about you?
All over the place.
Yeah.
It's just all over the place. Same kind of deal. It'll be some classic rock.
Yeah.
Lots of country. Even some of the newer country.
Right.
I
Yeah,
like as well,
sure,
and a lot
yeah.
of the, definitely a
Yeah.
lot of the,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
in college in the early '90s,
Yeah.
so I like a lot of 80s rock stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And
Well, and that's one thing about my office. I've got a set of speakers, and then I'm blasting a lot. Matter of fact, yesterday, Candace and I were just back there going through some music, and one of our administrative assistants had to go get her grandson or whatever, and I think we kind of freaked him out because, I mean,
Yeah.
we were bumping yesterday.
Yeah, she said. Then she looked and said, "He's in there dancing." Her grandson was dancing. It was cute.
So, and we'll end on this one, but we always like to also talk about it, maybe an embarrassing story as far as teaching. We've all got them, right? So,
I'll go first with one. I might have a couple.
okay, go right ahead. Yeah.
Kim's like, "Let me think. Go ahead."
I'm going to tie one back to the co-op and with Kim just to start with. So obviously, when Kim left Jasper, she was leaving her baby in the elementary school, and
Right.
they were giving it over to some
Agri teacher.
hick agri teacher that didn't know a
Yeah.
thing in the world.
Yeah.
So she stuck me in all kinds of trainings that summer. She's like, "You got to go to this training, this one here." So I was at the co-op going through the ELF training, which
Yeah.
is whatever the
Yeah.
main literacy training was at the time. And we were there 3 or 4 days. And at the end, the literacy specialists were going around the room. Your exit ticket was tell what you learned that week. They were all telling all this great knowledge that they had gained and everything they had learned. Well, you know what I learned that week?
What's that?
I learned what a pocket chart was.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, there you go.
And she was mortified when I said,
Yeah.
I learned what a pocket chart was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you learned something.
I guess they
Yeah.
don't use pocket
Yeah.
charts in
We don't,
Ag,
use, we don't use
no.
pocket charts in ag.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Use a shirt pocket. That's about it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Kim, what about you?
Probably the one that I would tell is we had 6th grade graduation at Jasper, and it was a
Right.
big deal.
Yeah.
And so one year, this student he was dressed up, but I don't know, he looked like a little preacher, a little old
Right,
man preacher. And there were like several teachers sitting in front, and they got tickled. You know how when you're
Oh,
in
yeah.
a situation like
Right.
that and you get tickled and then it kind of gets out of control? They got tickled, and I'm up here on the stage so everyone can see me, and they're getting me tickled, and
Yeah.
they just keep laughing, and I'm going,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they
You're
still,
like you're trying to
Yeah.
control the
Yeah.
teachers, not
Yes.
the kids.
Right.
they
Oh, yeah.
still laugh about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
There's got to be an agri story in there somewhere. I mean,
Listen,
Well, the other one that I really had was considering. I'm really on the borderline whether I should
push it out
tell
there.
this story or not.
Yeah.
but,
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
we
among
like
friends.
these on
Yeah.
the podcast.
I was worried about what I was going to have to deal with on this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because
it's not been bad.
it's
has
not
it?
my cup of tea
Yeah.
in Studio D.
Right,
So
yeah,
I
right.
You've done great, Jeff.
Yeah.
You've
I've
done
really
great.
been concerned about
Yeah.
this. So I watched a couple of these and the
Yeah.
previous ones you've done, and you did talk about corporal punishment at some
Oh,
point.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I was a principal. Man, how long has it been? Is it 19 years ago?
Yeah.
So this has been a while.
Right.
And
yeah.
we did have corporal punishment at Jasper.
Sure.
Back then, it wasn't used very much, and I never used corporal punishment unless I knew the
Right.
family, knew the
Sure.
people, knew the
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. So I want to
Right.
preempt this conversation
Right. Yeah.
with
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
As an ag teacher, I had gone through and got my administrative degree, never dreaming
Right.
that I would be an administrator, especially
Right.
not that fast.
Right.
But high school principal would be gone, so you know who they would call.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So here I'd go. Well, the elementary got to doing that as well. Sometime Dr. Fowler was gone, and the elementary,
Right.
Miss Jackie, the elementary secretary,
Yeah.
sweetest lady you've ever met, called
Right.
and like, Mr. Cantrell, we need you down here in elementary. Okay. So I got down there, and I guess this young man, he was about a third grader, third or fourth, maybe, I don't really remember. He was a big kid, though. I
Right.
mean, he's probably about as big as I was back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
And I knew his family. They had already, I guess in PE class, maybe he kind of went up and kind of partially depantsed another
Oh, gotcha.
another young man, one
Oh,
of his
yeah.
buddies,
Yeah.
and they had already figured out what they wanted done. They talked to mom. They had the paperwork already done. They just needed somebody to administer the corporal punishment.
Right.
And I'm like, well, you know, I've never paddled an elementary
Right.
child before. It's
Right.
all been big
Yeah.
old high school kids.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so this teacher that was there just happens to be the mother-in-law of one of my superintendents too, by the way,
Yeah.
here.
Uh,
She's like, all right, here's what I'll stand in this little old bitty office.
right.
She's like, I'll stand back in the back and I will give you signals up
Okay.
or down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So first time we're there, and it's just like, I mean, it's not even hardly a
Right.
tap. I was
Yeah.
scared to death.
Right. Sure.
And,
That happened to me.
and,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she was like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, wham. And she's like, so that's,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like as me practicing before
Yeah.
I had to paddle because I'm like, okay, I'd paddle my own child before, but like
Yeah, well,
paddling
and-
somebody
and-
else's
and,
is
you
a
know,
little different.
it's so funny. I mean, you know, and I think back on it. I mean, was it good? You know, I think growing up and being on the receiving end of some of that from time to time, Lord God knows I needed it. You
always
know?
needed for me.
Yeah, and but I can remember having that first kid to paddle. I'm like, ooh, you know, so
Yeah, it was so funny. My daughter, she said we were talking at work the other day, and she's a rad tech in Little Rock. She said the whole crew they got to talking about, did your parents spank you? Da, da, da. And, anyway, they were like, yeah, and it wasn't bad. You know, we all turned out all right or whatever. And they were talking about, well, yeah, fly swatter, and they said something, and Sarah was like, or the wooden spoon. They're like, oh yeah, the wooden spoon.
yeah, oh yeah, all the things, or
And I'm like, oh my god.
or take it way back when your grandmother
I'm really
would
not
say,
a terrible person.
grandmother would say, go pick out a switch. You know,
Yes.
what?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, but it was
yeah.
pretty cool to see because they're all younger, and they're like, you know what, they could see discipline, like
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't get paddled all the
Right.
time. I mean, she hated timeouts too, so
Yeah.
it's just follow through.
Yep.
Say what
that's
you
right.
mean what you say.
Yes,
You know.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. We appreciate y'all letting us come in
Mm-hmm.
and still part of your day. It's been good to come up here. Beautiful country, beautiful facility,
very.
and you guys honestly do great work. You know, that's the whole purpose for this podcast. We want to highlight the great things that co-ops are doing.
Yes.
And so it's been, everybody kind of has their niche, but I will say this. This is my 10th year to sit in the director seat. And I think the cooperation amongst cooperatives is the best it's been since I've been here. Again, we're in a time in education where, I mean, we've got to lean on each other.
That's right.
I mean, there's no
That's right.
secret sauce.
Nope.
But if something good's going on, I think,
Yep.
it's important to share it and I always say this, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Candace
Yep.
asks all of those, so they're off the table.
All the time. All the
So,
time. Yeah.
But anyway, but we appreciate y'all letting us take time to come up today.
We've enjoyed it.
And
It's been awesome.
this will wrap it up for this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D.